In 1961, Porsche was struggling with their F1 program. Ferry Porsche decided to scrap their F1 program and focus on what they did best: sports car racing and hill climbs. For that, they needed to develop a completely new car. But there was a problem. The FIA GT class required 100 examples to be built for homologation. Porsche didn't think there would be enough demand for a race car, so they came up with a solution. They built the race car in such a way that it would qualify as a road car as well, and surely enough, they sold the 100 cars, actually even more than that. And so the 904 was born, just in time for the 1964 season. Well, 904 was how the car was designated internally. Officially, it was marketed as the Carrera GTS, because Peugeot owned the rights to name road cars with a 0 in the middle. The 904 was priced at $7,245 or roughly 29,700 Deutschmarks. Porsche intended on fitting the newest race car with a flat 6 engine, the same engine that would power the newly presented 901, which we know today as the 911. But the engine was delayed, and so Porsche had to look for a replacement. The 4-cylinder 587/2 Fuhrmann engine was the obvious solution. With the help of Hans Metzger, the engine was massaged and turned it into a 587/3, which delivered 185 horsepower. It was considered by many as the most complex 4-cylinder engine ever made at the time. Ferry's son, Ferdinand Alexander Porsche aka Putzi, was responsible for the design department. He drew the sketches that would give the 904 its special looks, and when asked, he said the 904 was his favorite project because he was able to design it all by himself, without any negotiations and demands for changes. Back in the 60s, Porsche wasn't the large powerful company we all know today, and building 100 cars just for racing wasn't an easy task. To keep the costs low but still develop a great race car, the body was made of fiberglass and was tied to a steel lattice chassis, producing a feather lightweight construction while making it much simpler and therefore the costs much lower. Thanks to bonding the body to the chassis, the rigidity was also increased. A race-prepared 904 would weigh at 655 kilograms, roughly 1,440 pounds, which is absolutely insane. And if you thought the LaFerrari's concept of fixed seats and adjustable pedals and steering was revolutionary, well, Porsche used it on the 904, back in the 60s. You can move the pedals forward and backward, and the steering wheel too. The 110-litre fuel tank was mounted at the front for better weight distribution. One of the FIA homologation rules mandated that the car should have a trunk, and so Porsche engineered a trunk in the rear clamshell, which looks like this. The 904 raced in the GT category thanks to its 1966cc engine and was on the track next to cars such as 250 GTO and Shelby Cobras. It was very successful and won several races, notably taking first and second at the Targa Florio in 1964. Depending on who you ask, production numbers of the 904 differ, but Porsche say they built around 106 examples. One of those examples, chassis 057, is with us here today. It was delivered in 1964 to Spanish racing driver Juan Fernandez. Mr. Fernandez was born in 1930. His father Ramiro used to take him to motor racing events as a kid in the 40s and 50s, when drivers of the likes of Kodja and Jover were battling it out on the track. Juan was captivated by racing. His first taste of motorsport came when in 1954 he co-piloted Salvador Fabregas in multiple rallies. Juan was getting more serious about racing, and so when his own business flourished, he didn't hesitate a second and bought himself a 4-cam 356 to race with. Juan's racing career would span over almost 3 decades, from 1964 to 1990. After one season behind the wheel of the 356, Juan decided to go to the next step, which was at the time acquiring a 904. The GTS was delivered to Juan in February 1964 and was finished in signal red with a blue upholstery as it appears to this day. From factory, the car was equipped with a tablet side mirror and a Nürburgring gearbox ratio. Needless to say, Juan decimated the competition with his new Porsche. Some of his racing results with the 904 included: first at the 1964 Carrera Cuesta Maulan, which according to Jürgen Barth was the first race win for a 904. Then, second overall and first in GT class at Rally Basco Navarro, first in GT class at the Rally RACE, an overall win at the Carrera Cuesta de Montserrat, and a record-setting win at the Bergpreis Montigny, both of which counted towards the European Championship. And the list goes on and on. and all of that without suffering any serious accident or major mechanical issues. This is the car that put him on the map. He then went on to win the 1973 and 1974 European Hill Climb Championships. Now 58 years since leaving the factory in Stuttgart, this very car is believed to be one of the most original 904s with racing pedigree in existence. It retains its matching numbers gearbox, original fuel tank and most incredibly its original bodywork, something that is nearly impossible to find on other 904s. It is an absolute privilege to stand next to chassis number 057, a piece of Porsche history. But what's even more amazing about the 904 is how it drives. So, time to get behind the wheel.